here's hoping that not only are we live, but also that you can hear me. But let's find out, I guess. Let's see. Huzzah! If at least one person can hear me, then I feel like I've done at least something right. So it's all good. Hello. Welcome. There is no reason for this stream. I just, well, except that I felt like doing it. So here we are. Because normally when I go live, it's because something really, either it's my monthly stream with my patrons, in which case we all know what's happening. We're just going to freeform for 45 minutes. Or something stupid has happened. My daughter, I didn't really feel like I was going to get called out by like a preteen, but my daughter came up to the office the other day, and I had the dagger with the microphone on it sitting on my desk. And she picked up the dagger microphone. She doesn't really watch my videos, but she picked up the dagger microphone and said, "Hello, I'm Jill Bearup, and YouTube has done something stupid." And then she put it back down again and wandered off. I was like, I came here to have a good time, and honestly, I'm feeling so attacked right now. But also, fair? Yeah, that's fair. It's very good to see you all. Hello. How goes the audiobook saga? You know what? I want to say it got worse, but it didn't get worse. It just sort of got progressively sillier. I'm so proud of her. I know, right? Because I thought to myself, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto Spotify, specific Spotify for authors. I'm going to sign up to that, and I'm going to put the book on Spotify separately. And so I went on it, I signed up, I had to create a Spotify account, I did all of the things. I had to fill in my W-8 Ben-E, which is the form you fill in if you live in a country that has a tax treaty with the US, but you aren't in the US and you are a corporation. I did all of those things, and then it said, draft submitted, we'll get back to you in about 3 days. But I got no email confirmation for that, and the next time I signed into Spotify, all of my tax information still there. So they could pay me, but the audiobook draft, gone. I don't know where it is. There's nothing there. And so I thought, well, it said it'll take 3 days, so I'm going to go back in 3 days. And I haven't, because I figured absolutely nothing is going to happen. So let's go back into it right now. Guys, it's there. It disappeared. But it completely disappeared. When it was in its draft stage, it just wasn't on the system anywhere. I couldn't see it. But I just logged in, and it says, "Just add me now, active on Spotify." So if you go on Spotify, I think you might be able to buy it now. That's exciting. There we go. We'll pretend that was the reason. You can buy it on Spotify now. You can buy the audiobook on Spotify if you want to. Yay! I can't believe that actually worked. Anyway, after I filled in the form, it said, "Thank you for putting your audiobook in the Spotify review process. If you'd like to distribute it to a wider audience, have you considered joining up with our partners in audio?" And I went, no, thank you. I don't think I want to do that. But anyway, Spotify, that was remarkably simple. Just inexplicably, it vanished in the middle. And I don't mean it was, there was a thing that said reviewed. It just wasn't there. But now it's here. So that's pretty good. Anyway, which way of buying it makes you the most money? Patreon by a country mile, because when you buy it on Patreon, it is a little bit more complicated. And so if people are not particularly tech savvy, like, just buy it on wherever you normally get your audiobooks. But if you go on Patreon, you pay $11, and then you can download. There are 3 separate things you can choose from, or you can just download them all if you're a fusspot. I'm kind of a fusspot, so that's why I gave you all of the options. You have one big file, which is basically exactly the same as the file you get on Audible or Spotify. You have individual chapters as a zip file. That's the same as you would get on Audible or Spotify. And then you have the one that's called FX0, but I call it Jill's version, because Audible has requirements for its audiobooks for processing and noise ceilings and stuff, and I don't like them. And so basically, if you like the sound of my YouTube videos, and I'm very used to the sound of my own voice on YouTube videos, you download FX0, and it basically sounds like I'm narrating to you via a YouTube video, and it's cool. So nobody else really, I don't think, can tell the difference. But you can, if you want to. That way gets me $10 because Patreon takes like a processing fee and their cut. I can never leave Patreon and come back because I'm on the founders plan where they only take a 5% cut plus like platform, PayPal and things, fees. And so I could never go away because if I come back, like the lowest tier is 10% or something. I'm like, no. They keep asking me, would you like to upgrade to our, fancy pro plan where you can put other people? I'm like, no, I just want to stay here. Over here in my corner, where you take a 5% cut. No, that's great. Thanks, guys. Anyway. Yes, I can see it saved to listen later. Yes! Did you ever notice that Spotify brings to mind a medieval name for measles? No. But I don't know what the medieval name for measles is. Oh, but... Yeah, no. Oh, I see. Right. Because Spotify, a bit like a medieval style name for measles. I understand now. I'm very with it. Absolutely. You can see it on Spotify. Fosspot, you can see me. Woman who makes dozens of videos and live streams complaining about companies demonizing or screwing with her finances. I'm kind of a fusspot. Listen, I keep getting comments where people say, by the way, if my hair starts making funny noises in the microphone, tell me and I'll move it. But because I've been filming fantasy heroine stuff, it's a continuity nightmare, honestly, because when I'm Bren, I just flip it around and put it in her pocket, but I take the little fluffy thing off. Spoiler, her name is actually Bren. When I'm Caroline, I put the fluffy thing back on, but I have to hold it out of the shot because I can't, or clip it to a bottom, like, button on my shirt or something. Yes, but never mind. You said I could never go away, and were then interrupted by an ad. Yeah. On the other hand, the Amazon UK hardcover option has disappeared again. Listen, honestly, the best thing to do, because pre-orders don't particularly matter for this one, except insofar as if you want to pre-order it, you totally can, because it'll remind you that it exists and stuff. But if you live in the US or the UK, if you're outside of those countries, you can do what you want, basically. But if you're in the US or the UK, and you come back in a week and a half when the book is available, I can give you a direct link to buy it from Ingram Spark. So instead of you going to a bookshop and then the bookshop goes to Ingram Spark and says, hey, we need a copy of this, and then Ingram Spark print it and then they ship it and then what you can do instead is you can just go directly to the link and be like, send me this book, and they like it because they don't have to give a bookshop the discount, so I get more money. They get the same amount of money, I think, or maybe slightly more, but that's like the easiest way to do it, because you don't have to go to someone who goes to someone who maybe goes to someone else. You can just go directly to Ingram Spark and be like, hey, I want a book, please send it to me. Okay, thanks, bye. If hair starts hissing to the microphone, you might be Medusa. How are the cats? They are good. They are good. Neville is much happier now that he is permitted to go outside, because previously, when he wasn't allowed to go outside, he would try and climb out all of the windows. And my house has 2 stories, and it was 32 degrees over the summer, and so the windows were at least a little bit open, and so occasionally you would just find him trying to climb out a 2nd-story window and be like, no, don't do that. I once discovered him. I once woke up in the morning before they were allowed out and found him climbing back in through one of the 1st floor windows. So we were a story up, but he had apparently climbed up onto that windowsill, pushed the window open, and then gone on a little adventure out over the roofs. And then he'd come back in for his breakfast. Like, okay, well, good, good. Have you seen The Duelist? I have not. It is on my list of things to watch, though, because people, basically what tends to happen is people tell me, oh, you'd really like this thing. And I go, yes, that sounds good. And then I watch it and I go, oh, I do really like it. That is what happened with The Mark of Zorro. Because for ages people were saying, oh, you should watch The Mark of Zorro, you'll love it. And I went, will I though? Will I? And then I watched it and I did. It was in fact really good. And Scaramouche, I watched that and went, yeah, I think I like The Mark of Zorro better because I like the humor in The Mark of Zorro better. Scaramouche, I get it. I just don't laugh as much. It's a bit like Blazing Saddles. Oh, my Robin Hood Men in Tights video has surged in popularity recently, which is lovely, but it means there are lots of people going, hey, it's been a year, did you watch Blazing Saddles? And I did. And the thing was, some of it was so funny that I just cackled. But a lot of it, I thought, this is a joke. I can tell from the meta context that this is meant to be a joke, but I don't watch Westerns, and so I don't understand this joke. Like, something, so it's like, and then a slapstick thing happens, and I go, oh, that's funny. But I feel like I would like Blazing Saddles better if I understood Westerns more. Will Caroline feature heavily in your new short line? Yes, because she's the author. So, but probably, I'm finding, so probably tomorrow on Patreon, and for channel members, I will put up my first compilation, which is the first 4 episodes of the sci-fi heroine series, which, working title, Just Space Me Now, because, I mean, why would you not call it that? Rosamund probably not very much. Maybe occasionally, but you know, there's such a thing as hammering a joke to death. But we used to have a cat drop in daily through our skylight. We lived on the 4th floor. The cat then requested with me I was to let him out the front door every day for months. Made lockdown 1000% better. That's amazing. Rosamund, no, Rosamund. I mean, Rosamund will show up occasionally, but I would think not very much, because you know. She's in a different genre. Honestly, Caroline is showing up in the episodes less than I had perhaps anticipated. I mean, the thing is, she has to narrate everybody who is not the heroine, but, you know, she narrates the voice of the computer, and there's a different sort of overlay for that. You'll see. And you can see her face and stuff. You can still see her face when you do that, but she shows up as herself as the author less than I thought, because the heroine talks to, you know, Steve the robot and the computer and whatever. So, but yes, the first 4 episodes, which come to 10.5 minutes total, because YouTube now lets you do YouTube shorts for up to 3 minutes, will go up as a compilation. And for everybody else, you're getting them kind of 1 a week, because I said to my patrons, hey, here's the 4th episode. You won't be getting another one for a little while, because I've literally no idea what happens next. And also have 4 other video projects which I kind of need to get done. So I will let that marinate while I work out what happens next. Shortly after I moved into my place a few years back, a cat decided to visit, which I discovered when I walked into my bedroom, and it jumped off my bed and ran out past me. My next door neighbor in our old house had COVID at one point. I think it was something like 2022, so it was not sort of main COVID time. We weren't all in lockdown or whatever, maybe 2023. And she had left her doors open because it was the summer and, you know, it was nice. And Nemo went into her house, wandered around a bit, went upstairs into her bedroom, and just, you know, decided to come hang out with her for a while. Any thoughts on, thank you for the super chat, Robert. Any thoughts on playing a D&D style campaign to be the rough draft of a book? Honestly, I think that's not a bad idea. The thing about D&D campaigns is that you never get stuck on what's going to happen next because things just happen. What happened to me with Just Stab Me Now, and what I imagine would be sort of 5 times the problem in a D&D campaign, is that you... How do I put this? So you're going to do a lot of things which don't make for a satisfying and cohesive narrative. Like, a lot of funny side tangents may or may not happen, which may or may not make it into the book. Actually, I sort of had the opposite problem in that I had made the vague outline of a story, and then making that make sense was really difficult. Luckily, there's a lot of flex in a meta story where an author is writing a first draft, because you can go, well, no, it kind of doesn't make sense. She's going to have to go back and fix that, right? But I think, like, if you have an interesting setting, then other people providing your interesting characters and giving you dumb things that they do and succeeding or failing based on random chance is not the worst way to go about drafting a novel. Good afternoon. Do you know your character's favorite cheese? Generally not, honestly. Okay. Is this really Jill or AI? Probably AI. I mean, to be fair, you do wonder about that sort of thing now. I definitely wonder. Not with myself, because I can just look and go, yep, that's definitely me. But it's a bit sad when you start getting adverts on YouTube and you're quite happy to see that advert because it has real people in it, right? It's not some AI generated thing with an AI generated person saying, well, I live stream all of my trades of crypto on Twitch and YouTube. Like, thank you for that. Obviously fake person. Are you pivoting to being more of an author now? No, I am. Well, because basically I am. Just Stab Me Now was not the first series of short narrative videos that I did, because I did a previous one on TikTok, which was narrated by a young lady who was wearing a ball gown, about a party that she went to which had an assassination attempt at it. And what happened was, I got about 8 episodes in, and then I just didn't know what happened. And so it just stopped. I just stopped making them. And thereafter, when I started doing the fantasy heroine skits, it didn't have a plot initially. I just made up some plot points because I thought they sounded funny, and then they kind of snowballed. But it's entirely possible that I will make some videos about the sci-fi heroine, and it will come to nothing because I don't know what happens next. And the problem with that is, not that I don't want people to say things or make suggestions. That's great. I like that. But the thing is, if it's not the right thing, then I can't write it. It doesn't matter if you suggest something. If my brain doesn't tell me that it's the right thing, then I can't do it, if you see what I mean. So, for example, I posted for my patrons yesterday and I said, listen, the computer has a name, and the name is a set of initials, and I don't know what the initials stand for, and here are the letters and here are the things that they could stand for. Can you give me some suggestions? And somebody came along and said, it stands for this, 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 this. And I went, the last 2 letters are correct. The last 2 letters are correct. Now I have to figure out what the first 2 letters stand for, but those are right. Those are the right ones. Yes. It's I don't like being an author, but my friend, who I will call for the purposes of the internet Eleanor, because I let her choose her own internet name, and she said, what about Eleanor? And I said, that sounds great. She said, I maintain, Jill, that you didn't have a writing problem, you had a childcare problem, and that was why you found it so difficult. And maybe that is true. Um, anyway. My computer is called Pandora, as every time I have to open it up, I hope that bad things happen. I have a similar feeling of relief when I see good old stock photos and spam emails. Yeah, see, um, uh, this is the thing. Like, will part of the sci-fi story be a thinly veiled rant against the invasion of AI into creative spaces? I would doubt it. No. What it seems to be turning into is every bad customer service or tech support experience I've ever had, but in space. Because I don't know, people, it just keeps happening to me. And whenever I make a video series about them, because those always do really well, because everybody has terrible customer service and tech support experiences that they would like to share. People go, why does it always happen to you, Jill? And I say, it doesn't always happen to me. It happens to you as well. It's just that I will just keep going until someone sorts it out. And I'll make a video about it for your entertainment so you know about it. But, you know, you probably have these experiences pretty often as well. It's just you don't make videos about them on the internet because you have better things to do. Hopefully. A backronym. There we go. I remember you telling us your friends have no concept. It's my family, because Northern Ireland, the water in not everywhere in Northern Ireland, but at least in the sort of Belfast area, the water is extremely soft. Here I am de-liming the base of my electrical toothbrush. Oh man, yeah, sympathies. I'm happy to be a writing room brainstorming device. I'm glad to hear that. Did the book vendor get sorted? I don't know which one. The audiobook, it's now on Spotify, so now it's on Audible or Spotify or Patreon. But love the series so far. I'm glad. Like, it's I don't enjoy writing books, but I love making the series because they're just pure kind of serotonin. Because you know, people like them, and I like making them, and you know, it's a lot of fun. Even though the one I made yesterday had something like 4 different state changes. Like, okay, we're in normal state, and now your hair is down, and you're in the shower room, and now you're wrapped in a blanket, and your hair is wet, and now you're, you know, all of those things. But I enjoy it very much, and it's really fun to do. Whereas writing books is not the same. It's just not. Having worked TS for 7 years, I have many weird customer stories. I bet you do. I once refused to get off a support call for hours. They didn't hang up on me and eventually fixed it. Can you provide descriptions of your sci-fi elements so we could produce fan art? I mean, yes, but I don't know which ones. I guess that'll have to be on an ad hoc basis. Oh, incidentally, I had to I changed the spelling of Vulturi because I thought if you say Vulturi and Vulturi, that's the same. So it could be a CH or a T, because I end up pronouncing those the same way. So the Vulturi are now VOLCHURIE, because I Googled that and Google didn't know what it was. So that was good. People keep going, I Googled Alexians. I'm like, yes, I Googled Alexians too, and nothing came up. And so that's good because I just made them up. Isn't your character trained in repairs? Does that mean they'll at some point be on the other side of a support phone call? Possibly, but there will be shenanigans, I am sure. There will be many shenanigans. 10 years in customer service made me love my lockable front door. Yeah, fair. It is massive. It is thick. I only have to interact with people I choose. Hi from Argentina. Hello. I have no idea what time it is there, but you know. I've also been watching, which possibly helped with getting in the correct kind of mindset, Babylon 5. However, I'm now up to, actually it's right here, I'm now up to disc 6 of season 1. We only have season 1 as far as I can tell, but I'm now up to disc 6 of season 1. But disc 6 doesn't work. As in, I put it in the DVD player and it spins it around and then it spits it back out again. So, I mean, it doesn't look worn or scraped on the back particularly, so who knows. Oh, thank you for the super chat. You didn't see us plotting to pester you into another book. I mean, you can pester all you want, but like, I will do it or I won't do it, and it will have nothing to do with how much you ask me. It will happen or it will not happen, and that will be independent of anybody else because nobody else actually has to write it. So that's just how it goes. Discs degrade over time. 6:45 a.m. Well, good for you for being up in an early kind of fashion. Hang on just 1 second. I need to... All right. It's cool. I do not have to leave for school pickup because other things are happening after school. But sometimes they cancel the other things after school. So, you know, it's good to check that that has not happened. Anyway, for those of you just joining us, exciting news, which is not why I came online, but I decided to check, and you can now listen to Just Stab Me Now on Spotify. It has appeared there because I put it up. I put it up on Friday, and they said it'll take about 3 working days to get your book up. And I checked yesterday, and it wasn't there. But I checked today, and it is. So if you're a Spotify person, then hooray for that. Okay. When I worked in complaints for a bank that... Isle of Man. I've been there 1 time. I lost half a stone in weight. That was not the fault of the Isle of Man. For bank out, I was the guy they sent downstairs when an angry customer turned up. That's very fair. Did you hear back from the other company? No, I did not. They sent me a thing saying your book is on Google Play, and I said that's the ebook. Your book is on Google Play. We sent you links to it. Which platforms is it not on? So I sent them a link to all of the 24 platforms that they had agreed to distribute it to. And I have not heard back since. Thank you for the super chat, Robert. Between you, Hello Future Me, and Shadowversity, quirky real world history are usually my inspiration for world building. What are your inspiration sources? I could not tell you. I mean, currently, the sci-fi or space opera that I've read, so that is probably most influential, is Honor Harrington by David Weber. The earlier books rather than the later ones. Hera Serrano by Elizabeth Moon. Babylon 5, at least the first season of it. Quite enjoying that so far. I'd never seen it before. I mean, I watched a lot of Star Trek The Next Generation and Voyager when I was a kid, so that's more, that percolates in the background, but I don't remember it. It's just vibes, if you see what I mean. And probably some other stuff as well. Oh, Firefly. I like Firefly. Contact the company and they should send a new disc. I mean, they could. This is copyright 1993 and 1994. So that could make a good video, actually. Hey, my what? My almost... No, DVDs aren't... You couldn't get DVDs in the mid-90s, could you? No. So it must be younger than that. But probably 20-year-old DVD is not working anymore. Have you seen Deep Space Nine? Nope. Oh, Vorkuzikan Saga. That's what I missed. I want to read Just Stab Me Now again, but I have a dozen other books on my reading list in my senior year of high school taking 2 honors classes. That's probably a lot of... It's probably a lot of reading. Just saying. I want to know what is to the right of the YouTube plaque. That is... that is Expecto Patronum. That is... So, Ursa Minor has the Harry Potter books with the Jim Kay illustrations, and they give you a free poster folded up in the back of some of the books. There's a little flappy bit. You get a poster. Someone asked me if it was a sea slug, and I'm like, no, but I could definitely see why you would think that. That's very fair. Good night, Rachel. I put in a word for Alan Steele. He loves his beam jacks in space. Um, can't do sci-fi without Star Wars. Also true. Also true. Babylon 5 was one of the first shows released on DVD. There you go. Have you read David Weber's fantasy series? No. No, I don't think so. I started... I don't know. There are some people I like, but only in certain genres. And also, I tend not to really be into really, really long books. I mean, I have increasingly... So I have been reading the October Day series by Seanan McGuire, and I really love the early books, and I really love that one of the books in the middle, and I don't remember which one, which is a problem that we're getting to, has the best twist that I've ever seen in a novel ever. Like when we got to the twist, I threw the book down and went, no, how did I not see? And then I went, how did I not see that coming? No way. Unfortunately, that was such a good twist that it meant that I then was looking for twists in the future. So about 6 books later, there's another really shocking twist. But I'd already worked it out like 3 books previously that was going to be the twist. And so I went, oh yeah, we're doing that one now. Okay, cool. So it was kind of a victim of its own success in that regard. But also, as series go on, I can only really hold about 8 books in my head. They don't get longer, which I like. They're always about 300 pages, which is great. But as series go on, I start to lose track of what's happening and who's doing what with whom. And so every time we get into a new book, I'm like, oh, what's going on? Who are those? Did they get married? Did she die? Is that guy? What's happening? I don't remember. But hey. Have you read the Earthsea books? No. Highlander TV show? Also no. I'm reading October Day right now. I'm on book 5, I think. Hey, Joriam. Yeah, no, I really recommend the October Day books, especially the first, 10 or so. And then I start to get confused about what's happening, and it all kind of goes downhill because I don't remember what's going on. But that's what the thing. You don't like reading really long books, but you read series which is like a really, really long book. I mean, that's kind of true. But I also read the first Wheel of Time book and went, yeah, that was fine. I don't want to read any more of that. To be fair, that was better than I did with the series, where I watched 1 episode and went, yeah, that's enough of that. I at least stuck it out for the entirety of the first book of Wheel of Time and went, yeah, I moderately enjoyed that. That was all right. Do you have any advice for small YouTubers? Your titles probably suck, and your thumbnails also probably suck, and that's okay. But this is the thing. This is the thing that I find hardest, and also is the most important, because YouTube will push a small channel if people are willing to click on your video, but if you don't have a title that compels them to click, they're not going to, because they have no idea who you are. Like, I have 500,000 subscribers, and still, every time I make a video, I think to myself, is this a video where I need to convince a random stranger who's never heard of me that they really want to click on this? And if the title doesn't do that, then I am not doing a very good job. But also, if you're a small YouTuber, you're probably making YouTube videos for fun. So also, don't get too hung up on that, don't get too hung up on how many people are watching, as long as the people who are watching are good. Because you can have a huge audience, but they're actually terrible. Or you can have a small audience and they're really nice. You can also have a small, terrible audience or a large, nice audience, but large, nice audiences take a lot more wrangling. Ask me how I know. So YouTube has its own built-in filter, and it filters things that it thinks are offensive, but it also filters things based on words that you put in. And I got a list from a thing that was the Internet Creators Guild, which was sort of like YouTubers attempting to unionize, it really didn't work, but it did give me this list, which I've been adding to over the years. And so there are now something like 1,800 words on my held words list, which means I get a lot of held comments, which are completely innocuous, but some combination of letters in there makes it sad. And so I go, yeah, you're fine. Yeah, you're fine. Anyway, my main piece of advice is enjoy, and my main piece of advice if you want to grow is your title and your thumbnail are very, very important, because if no one clicks, then no one's going to watch, and if no one watches, then no one can share with their friends. I've just joined, and it's bugging me the top canvas isn't level. It's straighter than it was. Unfortunately, that's where in that corner over there is where I propped the green screen, and so every time I put up the green screen to shoot sci-fi heroine stuff, the poor purple picture just gets whacked. It hasn't fallen down yet, which is good, but hey ho. Do you have a Discord server? No, I do not. I know. I managed to get through the entire pandemic without ever having to host a Zoom call. Like, I was on plenty of Zoom calls, but I never had to set one up for myself. I didn't have to do that until 2023 or something, and then I went, everyone knows how to do this now because everyone had to do it during the pandemic, and I just sort of missed that part. Anyway, I only use Discord to play D&D with my D&D group, so I do not have a Discord server. When will he introduce us to Neville the Space Cat? I considered it. I did. I think, honestly, I think Luna would be better as Luna the Space Cat. For one thing, she's smaller, and also she's all one color, which the green screen would probably prefer. That being said, luckily they both have kind of the sort of goldy hazily eyes rather than green, because, you know, colors are difficult. I use the Final Cut Pro. I use a green screen or blue screen, and the Final Cut Pro green screen effect. And so I do my best, but it looks better than something that you throw on TikTok, but it's not, we're not Star Wars. Please explain the knife acronym. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Yes, someone sent me an email saying, hey, there isn't a knife acronym in Just Stab Me Now. So for those of you who don't know, at the end of, hang on, I'm going to look it up. It's in the acknowledgements at the end of Just Stab Me Now, we have, thank you to the real Nick, without whom Caroline's job would have been even more vague, and who spent more time than was really necessary trying to come up with a plausible acronym for the KNIFE program, as in KNIFE. So Caroline, in the middle of the book, is being bugged by her horrible boss, George, to fix one of his programs. And we name the program in full, but we never give you the acronym. But when Caroline calls the helpline, the person who picks up, like the seventh person who picks up, says, hello, welcome to the Curtle Node Interbank Financial Exchange, or something like that. So it's Curtle Node Interbank Financial Exchange, I think, is what it's called. I think that's the name of the program, which is KNIFE. But unless you have read both the entire book and then the acknowledgements afterwards, you'd be like, what do you mean there's an acronym that means knife? But I thought there should be one because she works at Crossguard Solutions, which was sword themed. So I thought we needed something else that was sort of knife themed. Just ordered a book from a local bookstore. Awesome. I have a meeting in about 30 minutes. Well, like work happens. But that would work as the interstellar banking for your sci-fi series. It's true. It's true. An Easter egg. Exactly. Yeah, so that's what else has been going on. In a strange turn of events, YouTube suddenly became my job in a different way. I run a channel for the local pool company. I appreciate the creator insights. Do shorts drive more sub growth for you? Yes, actually. Though honestly, I have. The thing is, when you get to a channel of this size, then YouTube is constantly kind of culling out bots, because the bigger you get, the more likely you are to have channels, bot channels, subscribe to your channel in order to make them look a bit more legit. And so your number is constantly going up as new people join, but also down as YouTube culls out, as people unsubscribe, and also as YouTube culls out people who don't actually exist. I think it would be very. I sometimes wonder what would happen if YouTube sort of blanket unsubscribed people. Like, if it was, something like, you haven't watched a video from this creator in 5 years, blanket unsubscribe. I sometimes wonder what that would do to stuff, especially because my channel started picking up most of its traction in 2020, which a lot of people's did, I think, because, everyone was stuck inside and what could you do but watch YouTube videos? But people come in and fall off all of the time. So sometimes number go up, especially in the summer, sometimes number go down. But shorts do tend to drive a lot of subscriber growth, but then that doesn't necessarily mean that they come and watch the long videos, which, is fair, because the long videos are often not even slightly on the same topic as the shorts, because the shorts are just whatever, whereas the longer videos tend to have at least some kind of similar theme or vibe, as opposed to, here's a short about Pokemon, here's a short about customer service, here's a short about Twitch. I would hate blanket unsubscribe, because my wife and I both subscribe, and she always beats me to finding a video, and we watch it on her account, which is fair. But yes, it's. I don't think they'd ever do it, because I think the ego hit would probably be too severe for some people. But didn't Twitch do something recently where they decided to get really serious about stopping view botting, and then suddenly they had a very significant drop in the number of people watching live? I feel like that happened. I don't really know much about Twitch, but I keep an eye on other platforms occasionally. Not really TikTok, though. I keep an eye on TikTok in the same way that you keep an eye on your slightly, unstable neighbor. Because you've got to get on with this person, because they live on the same street as you, but they're not always completely with it. And sometimes they are extremely on with it. Is it monetization on shorts, or is it just reach? It's just reach. Actually, let me. So for the most dramatic contrast, let me get. All right. The Scaramouche video is 26 minutes long, which is very long, to be fair, and it is 76,000 views, and it has, where are my analytics? It has earned $483. By contrast, we have, where's a short? Let's see, that has similar numbers of views. Okay, Unhinged Customer Service Update has 100,000 views, and it has earned $31.92. So one of them earned $480, and the other one got, a third more views and earned $30. So yeah, shorts are for reach, not for money. Twitch is your backup side piece. You can now live stream on Patreon. You can live stream directly on Patreon. So I just sent a message to all of my $5 and $10 patrons saying, hey, we're live streaming on the first Saturday of the month, is usually when I do it. And we're doing it directly from Patreon this month, because they've just introduced that as a feature. So we'll see how it goes. I found Scaramouche at my local library. The ending where it turns out the ex is dating Napoleon had me in hysterics. It's great. Has the publishing problem been resolved yet? You can no. Short answer: no. Oh no. Okay, are we back? Sorry about that. The short answer is yes, but no. You can now buy the book on Spotify, but you cannot. So the list is now Spotify, Audible, or Patreon, but you can't buy it anywhere else because in audio continue to be useless. However, I've now found a place called Authors Republic, which I'm hoping will be better. And by better, I mean they will literally do anything. So yeah, if you get your audiobooks on Spotify or Audible, you're good. But if you want them somewhere else, then no, you're still gonna have to wait. Not completely frozen, just jumpy. Okay. Yes, when I said oh no, the whole page which has the chat and everything on it just died. Just went oh no, something happened. Oops. We need another singing video from you. The thing we have been singing in my house most recently are songs from K-pop Demon Hunters. Neither I nor Ursa Minor have ever seen K-pop Demon Hunters, but we've seen the songs. But when it gets to the bits which are in Korean, then generally, like, I've tried to look up what they are, right? Because I think it's good when you sing a song to know what you're singing about, and also to be able to say the words. However, in the meantime, generally the Korean bits, you just sing Korean, 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 but for the appropriate number of syllables. That said, we've managed to learn like the first 2 very short Korean phrases in Golden, so progress is being made. It's a much harder. No, like I'm not saying it's difficult to pronounce because, or at least I feel like it's difficult to pronounce because when I look up things like a pronunciation guide, a lot of the letters seem to be halfway between 2 letters. It's like it's not quite a B, it's not quite a P. So some of the phonetic things go, oh, it's B, and some say it's P or whatever. You go, huh. Thanks, Valdegast. Once within a dungeon dreary, while I quested weak and weary, over many quaint and curious arcane rune upon the floor, quoth the pit trap 64. We're wrapping up our current D&D campaign at the minute, and last week we got thoroughly beaten up and have no opportunity to heal ourselves or get any spells with 2 major fights left to go. And we're like, should we just bin it all off and head to the fire plane? You know, that world's not going to end. And also, why does nobody else care that the world is ending aside from us? Anyway. I never catch you live. I would say you're great. Oh, thank you. K-pop Demon Hunters is great. It seems like, from what I have seen of it, a very fun movie that sets out to be fun, which I'm a big fan of. Like, I enjoy fun. It's a very odd statement to make, but you know what I mean. Find the bard. Instead of going to the Mountain of Doom, let's go back to the tavern. Whoever's Safehold is a good series. Is it really long though? Like, really, really long. Also, how many characters are there? Because I have now read the entirety of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Like, at the age of 39, no, I guess I was 38 at the time, I thought maybe 38-year-old Jill will like these better than 13-year-old Jill did. And it's true, I did, because I kind of understood that you're not really there to have anything happen in a hurry. Lord of the Rings is mostly about the vibes. You know, you read and there are vibes and things happen and the story unfolds. But I also learned that Tolkien doesn't really write a lot of fight scenes, which is like a surprising number of dramatic events are told to the characters afterwards like it's a stage play. Do you know what I mean? Like, the hobbits get taken and Boromir dies, but we're not there watching it when it happens. We get told about it later, if you see what I mean. And there are a couple of those which made me go, oh, that's interesting. Why does nobody else care? The world's ending aside from us. Your campaign is too real. In Texas, what should I have for breakfast? I don't know. Omelette? Or, you know, toast is always a classic if you were in a rush. I assume you're not in a rush because you are listening to a live stream. But you could be in a rush and just listening on your headphones while doing other things. I'm not saying that I've done that, you know, but I've definitely done that. I enjoy some YouTube videos as a soundtrack to my day. I still haven't read Lord of the Rings. To be fair, they are very long. Read the Silmarillion. No, I'm okay, thanks. What photos are you using for spaceship interiors? Basically things I get off Unsplash, because oh, and a couple of sci-fi interior computer wallpapers that you can get. But basically, I really like Unsplash because once you've scrolled past all of the things they want you to pay for, everything is free and you can use it commercially. So if I earn, you know, $38 on my, no, it wasn't even 38, it was like $30.21. Whatever it was, however much I earn on it, that's okay. You're allowed to earn money on things that if you have Unsplash pictures in the background. But yes, I have an entire separate folder on my external hard drive, which is called Just Space Me Now Media Files, which is for all of the project files which have been cut up with all the silences removed, and then all of the pictures that I have taken to use for backgrounds. I spent a lot more time, honestly, I spent a lot more time thinking about the backgrounds than I think the situation really warrants. Because if we move to a different location, then I'm like, oh, we're on a different part of this ship, so we need a different sort of background that's the same, but the med bay would look like this, and then if we're, you know, over here, but now she's back in the cockpit and it always looks like this. I probably spent too much time thinking about this, but never mind. He lived through World War I. I don't think he wanted any part of the reality of war. I mean, yeah, that's very fair. In The Hobbit, he gets knocked out and told it over half a page. Yes, there we go. Just coming off the night shift. I wish you good sleep. I just started fencing this month. Your Scaramouche video. It was amazing. Thank you. It has. I realized recently it has been 2 years since I did any kind of stage combat or fencing, and I'm like, 1, how'd that happen? And 2, that's really sad. We need to sort that out. But 3, by the end of next week, I'm hoping that Ursa Minor's room will be completely done, and then I also painted my entire bathroom. It took 3 coats of paint because before it was a really, really dark color, and it was a really nice color, but there is one bulb in the bathroom, just one, and my husband said, the thing is, you know, shaving is an unsafe kind of thing because I can't see myself well enough to do anything. And so I repainted the bathroom white, and to be fair, it does look a lot better. It did take 3 coats though, and you can see. Like, you walk into the bathroom and you can see things, like where you are. It's great. Anyway, I've done a lot of decorating, is what I'm saying. So, like, having ticked these things off the list, I am hoping that I can sort out my garden fence so that I have one, as opposed to currently I have 2/3 of one. So, you know, that would be good, because good fences make good neighbors. But I'll be able to go and do more fighty projects in the near future. Did your chinning bar make the move? No, I left it where it was. I have a new pull-up bar though. It's in the outbuilding, We have a sort of shed thing, and no, but it's a freestanding one, which I had to put together. It had many, many different parts. Took a long time to put together. Flashing Blade TV series. Never heard of it, actually. Lighting is the key to decorating. I mean, yeah. I relented and let my cat out for a walk. Fences over fencing. You can paint the walls of your home as set backdrop. Like, the thing is that, well, the other reason I don't want Rosamund in the videos too much is that she wears green, and I can't find her white and yellow dress that she wore at the end of the series. And I bought the white and yellow dress. I know it's somewhere, but I don't know where. Specifically because it's not green or blue, and so I can green screen her without it being a problem, but I have to use the blue screen when she wears green, and she still looks ill. Like, it drains all of the colour out of my face whenever I use the green screen effect when wearing green, because it pulls the blue, but it also tries to pull the green, and it's if you don't fiddle about with it, she becomes transparent, which is less ideal. I shave by feel, as I'm blind without my glasses. I never learned to shave with glasses on. Fair. There are two sides to a fence. That's also true. Love Just Tell Me Now. Reading it for the 5th time. That's a lot of times. I'm glad you enjoyed it. See, I have books that I read a lot. It occurred to me once I had read some reviews of Just Stab Me Now that I had in fact ended up writing the kind of book that I like to read, which is to say, a book that's really comforting to read when it's cold or you're miserable or something, because nothing too out of pocket, is that the expression? Nothing too out of pocket happens, and you know it's all going to turn out fine in the end, and you know people are mostly sensible. Anyway. Have you seen Ruby? No. I have heard of it, though. Just haunt me now. Exactly. She gets a little bit transparent in the sort of body, which is not the best. I mean, she could show up as a ghost, to be fair. That would work. I can't read 1984 because it gets me even more depressed. Yeah, 1984 is not really a comfort read. You know, you ever see yourself writing a second book? Depends if I come up with a plot for Bren et al. As I was saying, we have 4 episodes made, and if you're a patron, you can watch them. If you're a channel member, you can also watch them. But I said, yes, this will be, aside from the fact that people are coming over this weekend, and so they will be staying in this room on this sofa bed, and so I will not be, putting up my green screen or whatever. I don't actually know what happens next, and hopefully I will find out what happens next, but that might or might not happen. And if it doesn't, then it's just have a mortgage to pay off now. I mean, that's true. If you've seen the 1985 Karate Kid, you know that fence painting is a usual martial arts skill. I mean, exactly. Why would you not? I comfort read Honor Harrington, but skip over all the depressing Republic of Haven stuff. Same. I recently thought to myself, do you know what I want to read again? On Basilisk Station. Does Jurassic Park cards a comfort read? I feel like it could. Dealing with Dragons is an excellent series. Have any of you read Skandar and the Unicorn Thief, by the way? Or that series? Because I was just lent it by someone who said, I enjoyed this, and you might enjoy it too. I've also been lent words, Impossible Creatures by somebody Stedman. So yes. Have you read either of those books or series? And if so, did you enjoy them? On Basilisk Station is a great book. It is. However, it's also really hard to say, which is something that I've become really sensitive about now, having narrated an audiobook, but Basilisk Station has too many S's in it, in the same way that Caroline Lindley has too many L's. And so I have been trying to work out my heroine's name, and it has turned out to be like super duper pedestrian. And I thought I'd worked out the love interest's name, and then I realized that his name would contract. Okay, one of his names was going to be Theodore, which contracted to Theo, and then I was like, no, you can't have that because you already had Leo. You can't have Leo and Theo. That, no. But I know what his surname is, and I know what his middle name is, but I don't know what his first name is. But we'll find out. I love Skandar. Okay, AF7 is currently not reading In Enemy Hands. You know what? I feel like that's fair. Just put he pocketed it. See, he pocketed it is not actually that hard to say, in my opinion. Maybe it's different if you have a different accent, but he pocketed it. Because I feel like I have now, thanks to Ursa Minor, read out loud the entirety of every single Harry Potter book. And Harry he pockets things and pocketed it, you know, like a couple of times in the series. I feel like it was a this is a funny story that Stephen Fry is making up kind of thing, because he said, and then she put it in every book after that. And I went, no, I've read them all out loud, and I was looking for them. It happens, like, the word pocketed appears like twice in the entire series. Anyway, Rock Leo and Theo and make it a thing. Name him Bob. Leo and Theo went off to fight Cleo. You made like Flight of the Solar Ducks. Boy goes on adventure to save the world by finding a huge quantity of cheese. There goes my one audiobook anecdote. Indeed. Sad, but I recently saw a friend of mine who does stage combat, Lily, and I hadn't seen her in ages. I was like, how you doing? And, you know, what are you up to? And she was saying that she had done some audiobook narration. So we did audiobook swaps. I was like, here's the one that I narrated. It's my book. And she went, here's the one I narrated. It's not my book. It has a northern dwarf in it. And I was like, that sounds great. But we mutually commiserated about Audible together for a while, because apparently I am not the only person who finds it frustrating. Mind you, of the list of frustrating things to do with the audiobook, Audible is maybe like 6th on the list. So, you know, I've had worse. I've had worse than ACX. I love that the 3rd edition Eberron book canonically suggests you are guarding a wheel of cheese as an adventure hook. I love that. If you can have Huey, Dewey, and Louie, you can have Leo, Theo, and Theo. Anyway, okay. So, I don't understand where this... It should have... Sorry, I'm just looking at the Spotify page again. In sort of happy disbelief, but I can now see a page which says published 1 and drafts 0, and this is the page that I had initially, except it said published 0, drafts 1. But when I came back to it, I've come back to it most days in the last sort of 3, and there just hasn't been anything there. So it just, you know, apparently when it's being reviewed, it just disappears out of drafts, but it doesn't go into published because it's not published. Anyway, that's just, yeah. The dad who lived with Brad, Chad, Zad, Sad, and Glad, all his love interest for the heroine. Yes, yes. I don't see those very often because I am no longer on the TikTok, but I log in on my on the desktop every now and again for like comments and stuff, and occasionally it goes, hey, do you want the dad who lived? And the latest one I saw, the first like 5 seconds of, was, I'm considering trying monogamy. Like, well, that would cut down on all of the rhyming names. Do you think both companies will claim credit for having it published on Spotify? No, I doubt it, because in audio still haven't done anything, and Spotify have it directly. So in theory, I should make very slightly more money from like, I should make very slightly more money from Spotify than I would have otherwise, because it's on there. It's on there directly, if you see what I mean. I need a reference to Moonji. British. But we'll find out. I mean, Leo, Theo, Rio, and Cleo entered the Matrix to meet up with Neo. I have not read Project Hail Mary. Your audiobook is now showing up on my Spotify. Huzzah! Well, to be fair, I should probably go in a couple of minutes, because I must go to the place and collect the dependents and transport the dependents and then feed the dependents and make the dependent do violin practice. Very important. Luckily, because over the summer I heard the same 4 songs over and over again. But luckily there is a new song. So I will not have to hear the same 4 songs over and over again. I'll just have to hear this one over and over again until it is, you know, more ingrained in muscle memory, because, you know, who enjoys that? Feeding the dependents is recommended. Just parent me now. Ah, dear. Your cats are learning violin. Transport the dependents sounds like a job for Bren's new ship. To be fair, yeah. Glad I stayed up at night. It's nice being here. I'm glad you're here too. Keanu's does so much. Same 5 songs now. Progress. Yes. And I no longer have to do so much, you know, hoovering. Like, my house is clean. It's amazing. I am leaving, I swear. But because I got Steve, and so Steve, the robot hoover, he, you know, he cleans the office, and obviously he also stars in videos, which is very important. But he can also hoover other rooms of the house as well. And so my house is like cleaner than it's been in a very long time, because, you know, I tidy, but cleaning is boring, and tidying is also boring, but, you know, has a much more obvious impact on everybody's general well-being, like when the floor is not covered in stuff. But yeah, my house is sort of clean now. It's great. My office is super clean. So I have never heard of ice pirates. How does he take off a man's shoes? Well, technically my actual Steve could not do that, but I'm figuring sci-fi future Steve has a robot arm or something, because there are definitely robot hoovers that have robot arms. I'm reasonably sure. Anyway, yeah, so Just Stab Me Now is now on Spotify. That's exciting. And like in bowling. I will. My downstairs is clean and tidy right now. Completely coincidentally, my mum was visiting Tuesday evening. Yeah, we have people over to our house quite often, which is great, because it forces us to be, you know, clean. Anyway, have a great evening, day, or morning, and I will see you all. I will see you all very soon. If you're a patron, episodes 1 to 4, or a channel member, episodes 1 to 4 of the Sci-Fi Heroine are up now for your viewing pleasure. I'll put up the compilation tomorrow, probably, because I keep checking it to make sure that because things move around, you know. If you are not a patron or channel member, then you will see episode 2 on Monday. So yeah, have a great weekend. I mean, it's only Thursday, but, you know, have a great weekend that's coming up. It's soon. It's happening. The weekend is coming.